A lot just happened at the UFC 309 post-fight press conference. Dana White turned on Jon Jones, not in the way that he normally does, but he went against him in his time of great need. Jon Jones defeats Stipe Miocic. He wants to get on to talking about the big Alex Pereira fight that he wants to have. And Dana White basically says, if it's not Aspinall next for you, Jon Jones, it's nothing. He's not making the Pereira fight. Jon Jones expressed his disappointment that he wouldn't get the Pereira fight next, and then started saying that if, I don't get the Pereira fight, then I'm going to retire, and this will be a great end of my career. So he's still not entertaining the idea of an Aspinall fight, and then Dana starts hyping it up, trying to get the Aspinall fight done, and then Jon Jones remains adamant that he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, and then we start getting into the conversation of maybe he needs to get paid way more money, and we'll talk about that as well. So we've got a lot to discuss. Is Jon Jones pricing himself out of an Aspinall fight so he can blame the reason on it not happening on the UFC and on Dana White, which is what he tried to do about the Ngannou situation? Is he going to price himself out of it? Because Jon Jones prices himself for fights based on how high risk they are. We know that now, because he's not, if they don't give me, I'll only take the Pereira fight for this much money. He's not putting these massive monetary demands on the idea of a Pereira fight. This is only because Dana White's saying, no, your next fight is Tom Aspinall, and if not, you can retire. Jon Jones is now going to be needed to pay a lot more money if he wants to fight Tom Aspinall, basically. Is he trying to price himself out? Is he going to get the Saudis involved? And this is all one big negotiation from Jon Jones. I don't see the UFC giving him the total amount of money that he wants to fight Tom Aspinall. We're going to go through some of these clips in a second, but I think the Saudis could come in clutch here. Is that what I want to happen? Do I want our sport entirely, are we going to get to that point where the champions are only going to fight their most dangerous contenders if the Saudis put up a large amount of money? Are we going to become boxing? I hope not. But this all feels like one big game. So we got Dana White saying this after the fight with Tom Aspinall, with Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones.
No.
Okay.
You know what tonight told me? There's no fucking way I make the Pereira fight.
Okay.
John's too big. Great wrestler. See how he took Stipe down in that first round?
God, Stipe. You see what he just did to Stipe Miocic? Using that like that's still a relevant name. Either way, it's a good win from Jon Jones. I agree he would beat Pereira. So for this reason, I'm agreeing with why Dana White is saying this. Because he's saying this to try and get the Aspinall versus Jones fight made. I don't agree with him trashing Pereira, though. When Jones is on his way out of the sport, Dana White. You don't need to trash Pereira and tear him down to build Jones up. You could just say, I want the Jones-Aspinall fight. That's the intriguing one. Not, do you know what Jones would do to Pereira? He's your current champ. He may be around a little longer. Jones might be gone after this one. Why are we tearing down Pereira to build up Jon? It's all good, though. All a strategy, I'm sure, from Dana White.
Yeah. I like Alex Pereira. I like him personally.
But he's the greatest of all time, right?
It just doesn't make sense to make that fight. If they both want it bad enough and they're both fucking hounding me or something, maybe I would do it. It's just...
There's even an option that maybe he could be swayed. This is the lameness that we're experiencing right now. Maybe I would do it if they both were hounding me for it, and then I would leave Aspinall out for another year with no career for himself. Maybe, I guess. If Pereira and Jon kept hounding me for it, maybe I would go against the order of the sport once again and make this absolute sham of a fight. Maybe. It's weird that there's even options, but I'm glad that Dana's putting his foot down and saying that Jon ain't fighting anyone if not Aspinall.
Alex Pereira is killing it. Look at his age and what he's doing right now. What's the reason to go up and fight a guy that's so much bigger than you and such a good wrestler?
You know what's crazy? He's talking about Pereira. It kind of sounds like someone advising Jon Jones against the Aspinall fight. And that's really what it comes down to, right? He's just advising why Pereira shouldn't fight Jon. You can really rewrite that to say why Jon should not be fighting Aspinall right now. Either way, Jon Jones responds to this, not directly from Dana White, but he's heard what Dana White's saying. And he goes on to start talking about how if it's not the Pereira fight next. This is just after he started saying give the people what they want on the microphone at UFC 309. He starts talking like if it's not Pereira, he's done. Negotiation strategy, maybe. But it's really interesting negotiation strategy. You know what I mean? Just to be like, nope, I'm not fighting Aspinall. Don't care what Dana White says.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want. And if it doesn't line up, then professing my love for Jesus in front of everybody tonight, and telling the world how proud I am to be an American champion, and fighting in front of my president, man. If that was my last fight ever, then I'm cool with that. That was the way to do it. I did the Donald Trump.
So he doesn't get the Pereira fight. If that was his last fight ever, he's cool with it. A-okay to just walk off and give the undisputed belt to Tom Aspinall. Really interesting. I don't know what this is. I hope the UFC puts up the money. I hope they call Jones's bluff. That's what I really hope happens. So I'm imagining Jones is making about $10 million for that fight with Stipe Miocic. I don't think doubling it is what Jones is going to be after. They go on to talk about this a little bit more. Dana White starts amping up Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall.
You say that Jon and Tom has the potential to be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. Is that a fight that you think you could go against your normal rules and go for a stadium?
It doesn't have the potential to. It's going to be the biggest heavyweight fight ever. It'll probably be the biggest fight we've ever done.
So Dana's all steam ahead on the Jon Jones-Tom Aspinall fight, okay? This is Jon Jones' worst nightmare after the event. But Dana has completely switched on Jon Jones. And then we got Jones' response. Remaining adamant that he does not want to fight Tom Aspinall next. He's defending interim champion. Let it play.
For the next few weeks.
I'm not really worried about the Tom fight. I'm really worried about the Pereira fight. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do, and I think if the UFC wants to have me back, then I think that's the fight they'll make.
So I don't know what. Listen, when people say negotiation strategy from Jon Jones, he wants him to pay up a crazy amount of money. He's not putting the money on the line here. Like, that's it. You pay me the money I deserve to fight Aspinall or I'm gone. It's, you give me the Pereira fight or I'm gone. Which isn't even like, that's not the right way of negotiating it, I don't think. He should be like, okay, if I'm going to stick around, I'll fight Aspinall, but I want the money to do it. Otherwise, I'm fine with just leaving my career as it is here. He's going, I want the Pereira fight or I'm not competing in the sport anymore. So you better give me that Pereira fight. Is this like double-layered negotiation to where he wants more money for the Aspinall fight? Or is the Pereira fight what's at stake? I saw someone say earlier maybe they should just strip Jon of the belt, let Aspinall fight for undisputed, or let him fight Pereira in the meantime, and then Jones can just come back and challenge for the winner of that in some type of super fight money situation. But it just seems interesting that this is the hill that Jon Jones is going to die on. Pereira or nothing. The pure striker that doesn't grapple or nothing is all Jon Jones. Like, he won't talk about the money when it comes to Pereira even. So if they did give him the Pereira fight, he would take it on the contract he's currently on and just take that fight. The money only seems to come up when Aspinall's involved, when a risk is involved, when Ngannou's name is involved.
I've been really clear about my intentions. That's what I want. And I mean, I just feel like anybody would understand at this point. Like, you know, I'll retire the heavyweight belt if I have to. It's like, dude, give the guy what he wants at the end of the day, you know? And I'm not talking to Dana directly. I feel like I'm at a place now where, you know, like I want to take what I find to be super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champion.
This is the you know what it is? It's just this is the champion of the world. You know? I know he's coming to the end of his career, and I completely understand that. But normally they try and go without saying this out loud. So maybe there's a level of respect that we have to have for Jon Jones, where he's like, guys, I don't want to fight no dangerous up-and-comers anymore, you know? Because in a weird way, he knows he doesn't need to. Because I still see the Jones fans, they're more rampant than ever now because of his win over Stipe Miocic, who saw the Stipe spinning back kick TKO and went, and you guys think Tom beats him? Like, that's of any evidence to suggest that Jones wouldn't have a chance, or that Tom wouldn't have a chance against Jon Jones. So he knows the defenders are going to be there regardless. But we're just getting him saying, I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers. He's not he's an interim. He's the interim champ. He's not a dangerous up-and-comer. This isn't Reyes. You know what I mean? This isn't the same situation, John. This is like if Reyes, after his win over Weidman, went on to sleep Jan Blachowicz and then sleep Magomed Ankalaev, respectively, for that time area, within like a minute each. Got the interim belt off a Yuri, defended it against an Ankalaev in a minute's time. This is like that situation. And then Pereira saying, I'm not looking for any up-and-comers right now, guys, after just fighting a number 8 ranked Khalil Roundtree. It's a silly thing that we're existing within. But I'm hoping that maybe the Saudis will call his bluff and say, okay, 50 mil, we fight, you know? And just get the fight done, 50 million for Jon Jones. Make Aspinall pay for it. You know what I mean? I know maybe this isn't being Team Aspinall right now. Make him pay a tenner. You know, don't give him money. £10 at the door for Tom Aspinall to get in so he can fight Jon Jones. I'm sure he would do that. And then we got Dana White still getting it going about the Aspinall-Jones fight. He really wants it.
So moving forward, what do you do? Like, as obviously you said, you want him to fight Tom next, and you said that could be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time.
It will be.
Yeah. And John was on the post-fight thing. He said he wants to be well compensated because he saw what Jake and Mike.
He will be.
I really don't see them paying him that much. The UFC's idea of him being well paid enough, and this is the clip that he's talking about, by the way, because he gave a lot of way saying this as well.
Is there a dollar figure that equals fuck you money?
A very, very high number. It's going to be a very high number for sure.
Don't want to define very high yet?
No, I'm not. I've learned over the years not to really get into finances publicly, but I want to be compensated to the point where if I won or lost, that it really wouldn't matter.
Okay.
So it's entirely based on threat. This is the thing. There's none of this, I need fuck you money to fight Pereira next. This isn't, I need fuck you money to get another fight out of me. This isn't what Jon Jones is playing the negotiation of. He's not playing a negotiation. If you guys want to see me in this octagon again, it's going to take some fuck you money. No, it's, oh, am I allowed to fight Pereira next? I'm not. I have to fight Aspinall. Looks like it's going to take fuck you money, guys. And the wording that he said at the end, I want to be compensated to the point where if I won or lost, that it really wouldn't matter. In my language, that I'm going to translate this as, because I'm a Tom Aspinall fan, this sounds like, directly translated, could be, I want to be compensated to the point where if I won or lost it, it really wouldn't matter, because I know I'd lose to Tom Aspinall. Why does it come into the win or lose when Aspinall's name gets brought up, but Pereira, who he so desperately wants to fight, there's none of this, I'm going to need fuck you money for this one, guys. He'd probably fight Pereira on a contract fight. And you know what? I might say call his bluff. Let's just have Aspinall be the backup again. And if I'm the UFC, I'm paying Alex Pereira to fight Jon Jones. I'm having Aspinall be the backup. And a week out from the fight, I'm clamping Alex Pereira in the hotel corridors. I'm paying some kind of staff member from the UFC to push him down a set of stairs. And I'm having Aspinall step in, and I'm having Jones step out and duck. This is the route the UFC need to go down. Risk is the only thing that's making him ask for fuck you money. We wouldn't have this problem if Pereira was the next up and Aspinall had lost to Curtis Blades. Thank God that didn't happen, by the way. Because then we would never have any of this. We need to have the UFC fake book Pereira versus Jones. Aspinall volunteers as the backup again. We jump Pereira as a crew. This is the only way that this ends well. Because the UFC are never going to give him enough to where he's win or lose, it wouldn't really matter. That's 50 million type talk right there. Jones gets paid 10 mil a fight, I imagine. All things included. I could see the UFC doubling his pay. I don't see them giving him an amount of money where it's like, oh, this would be more than all of my title fights combined and I could become a real successful millionaire. You know what I mean? That would take him to another level of wealth if they were to give him 50 mil flat, because that probably would be all of his title fights worth combined and then some. I don't see the UFC doing that. They're going to need the Saudis to help them. And then Dana talks about how well he's always been compensated as well.
Do you feel like this could be leading to that same type of friction, or do you think it'll be an easier negotiation this time?
Jon's always been well compensated. You know, he's always been well compensated. I would never put his total purse number out there, but it's
do it.
Fucking massive. The number that he went over tonight, he's made a lot of money in his career. Listen, you don't fight and then disappear for 5 years because you weren't well compensated.
You do it because you tested positive for PEDs. I mean, yeah. I mean, this guy is so rich, he keeps taking these weird 2-year breaks. Yeah, dude. It's crazy how that... Yeah, that's one way you could say it, man. UFC bans him from the sport for 2 years. God, this guy's rich. He's taking a fucking holiday. All right, Dana. Okay? Such a weird way of wording the reason why Jon Jones took years out of his career here and now. Yes. It was because he was going on holiday. He was so rich. That's how we're wording it, Dana. Fair enough. And then he starts going off on Tom Aspinall again being an asshole. And this is all negotiation, maybe. I hope we are going to get the Aspinall-Jones situation. I wish we would have got the pair of them in the cage. I wish Stipe would have gotten a post-fight send-off like Carla Esparza did, and Joe Rogan was brought to tears talking to Carla Esparza, and then Stipe gets all right, thanks, big retard. Appreciate you, dude. See you later. You know what I mean? He doesn't even get anything for his retirement, which is pretty insane. But then Jones just still going off about Aspinall.
Respects Jon. He says nice things about Jon.
There's a lot.
So what specifically has he said or done to make him an asshole?
There's just a lot of people on his nuts right now, and
no, we're not. No, we're not. I mean, who is he talking about here, guys? No, nobody's on Tom Aspinall's nuts, dude. I'm sure Jones would like to be, but listen, I don't know who this guy's talking about here, guys. I haven't seen anyone that's on Tom Aspinall's nuts.
But what has he done, though?
Coming up with Jon Jones T-shirts, buying a little duck, and just the little shit that he does. He's annoying to me. And
how dare he buy a rubber duck? Should we get into what you've done, Jon? Dude, I wish Aspinall had that spite in him, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, Jon. Did I buy a rubber duck? My bad, mate. Anyway, how's your wife's fucking jaw, mate? Is it shattered, is it? I wish he had that streak in him. But he doesn't seem to have it. It's all good, though.
And that's my own personal... He annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining. But I find him annoying. And I just...
This is the gayest reason to turn down a fight, by the way. All good. I just listen. He ain't beating the allegations. There was a clip of him talking about Mike Tyson's ass as well. You freaky old man, Mike. Mike Tyson's a freaky old man, huh? He's talking like that about Mike Tyson's ass, which is insane.
Don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it. I want that fuck you money, honestly. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Or else my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all. And he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation. So.
All right. Dana White, book it! Forcefully book it, dude. And don't let Jones retire if he says no. We need him handing over his belt to Tom Aspinall. We don't let this guy just sort of shrivel out into the sunset after this. You know, just quickly nip out the back door. Well, in the back door, if you're Jon Jones. But either way, this doesn't get to end good for Jon Jones, dude. And there's a part of me that doesn't want him to get the fuck you money. But then there's a part of me that does because I want the Aspinall ass whooping. Ugh, dude, we can't get everything we want. Why is Jon Jones on top of it? Why have Dana White allowed this? Why have the UFC allowed this to happen? Should have stripped him of the belt and had Stipe fight Tom for a Jon Jones fight. This would have fixed everything. Why have the UFC and Dana White especially went along with everything Jones has said to get this? Maybe they knew the Saudis are going to come in and save the day. This could be orchestrated from the start. I don't know. This is Jon Jones.
I wish he went and showed us his ass. That was a little wild. I'm like, Mike, you didn't have to do that. Mike's a freak, I bet. Dude, I'm like, Mike.
His face switched up then, boys.
To do that. Mike's a freak, I bet. Dude, I'm like.
Yes, he is, isn't he, John? I bet you he is a freak, isn't he, John? You like that one? His face went like that straight away.
Mike, you old nasty old man. You old dirty bastard, you.
Somebody get the microphone away from John. All right, guys, pack this one up. All right, guys. That's all we got time for today. Jon Jones's media handler comes out. You dirty old man, you nasty fucking sexy fucking. All right, guys, cut the mics. That's the end of media day, guys. Jon Jones getting carried away on the mic again. Come on, man. This is such a weird negotiation phase that we're in. Is he pricing himself out intentionally so he can blame the UFC and Dana White for the reason why the Tom Aspinall fight didn't happen? Is there some Saudi money that is Turkey Al-Sheikh going to come in and save the day? Who knows? Why has Dana White allowed this to happen to where Jones has all the cards right now? I don't know why. Give us the Tom Aspinall fight. You don't have any of these fuck you money stipulations when it comes to a Pereira fight, which means that the money you want is entirely based on risk. Fuck this guy, dude. Before it's all said and done, dude, Tom Aspinall's bouncing this guy's head off the canvas. I've seen he said that a few times in the media as well. There you go, Tom. A little bit more. You're almost there. Okay? Just a little bit more trash talk out of Tom Aspinall, dude. When are you going to jump him? See you later, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see ya. I'm going to do a video on DC's weight gain soon. I'm worried for him.